this ball club has played the most one-run games in baseball. That's 30, and have had the second most blown saves for a bullpen. That's just amazing. That means that you have no one that you could trust down there to get to 7th, the 8th, or the 9th at this particular time. This is what happens when you have an underachieving lineup and roster. This team is as ordinary as any other team. Kap broke it down yesterday. Take a look at all the last-place teams in Major League Baseball, and then look at how much money that the Cubs are doling out. It just does not equate. It does not compute. But that is the case.
Yeah, if I'm Tom Ricketts, I'm tired of hearing they don't spend. And again, they could spend on whatever they want to spend. They absolutely can. Families got billions. They can do whatever they want. But if you're Tom, do you not walk in the office and go, hang on a second? Every day I'm hearing people say, we're cheap, we won't spend, we won't this. $230 million, and I got a last-place team in a crap division?
Well, the idea that they don't spend, that's just a non-starter. That's not even a conversation.
Yeah, it's just a weak narrative.
Yeah, you just move that along. That doesn't matter. What matters is the bottom line. And the bottom line is that this team's in last place, and they are struggling. They are drowning right now. Last place?
Cubs are 34-39. Cincinnati's 34-38. Pittsburgh is 35-37. The Cardinals, after that horrific start, are actually a game over 500, 36-35, and Milwaukee's 42-29.
They're laughing right now. I don't know if you can hear very closely, Cap. If you put your ear to the ground, you can hear them laughing in Kenosha.
And rightly so.
Laughing, like belly laughing, the Milwaukee Brewer fans.
How's your $8 million a year manager doing?
The Brewer fan resentful that Council left Milwaukee to go to Chicago, 1, but 2, they're like on autopilot.
I want you to listen closely. You can hear from Tallahassee, Florida. Yes, 7:22, the tee time for the Ross party. You are on the tee. Ross party, you're on the tee. David Ross is teeing him up. He's got another year of salary. They're paying him now. And he's going, oh, thought I was the problem. Maybe you don't have a bullpen for the second straight year.
Yeah. That falls at the feet of Jed. Falls at the feet of Jed Hoyer, who spoke to the press yesterday. He talks about the state of the Cubs offense. Listen.
You know, it's been, since our high water mark, it's been 46 games. And in that time, you know, we're at the bottom. You know, and that doesn't work. We have to find a way to hit effectively. It's just not, you know, we're not going to be the team we want to be until we start clicking offensively, and that's where we have to keep having discussions with hitting coaches and with the hitters and try to solve this. And you know, I think we've all come to the ballpark many days thinking today's the day we'll finally break out and get things rolling, and it hasn't happened yet, and it needs to happen.
Jed Hoyer.
Yes, he's right. They absolutely have to hit better. But that still doesn't fix your lousy bullpen. Like, okay, you want me to be the positive guy that I normally am and not the ticked off guy that I am right now because of what I watched? Okay, the positive guy says, well, Bellinger hit well last year. Ian Happ, I know he has it in him. Horner, as long as he gets, I know he's got a hand issue, but he's playing. There's some guys out there. Suzuki was off to a tremendous start until he got injured and was out. There's guys there that can perform decently well. Maybe not. May not be the Yankees there, but better. That bullpen's horrible. Hector Neris cannot close. Alzolay doesn't have the testicular fortitude to close. He's now hurt. He just started playing catch in Arizona. He's nowhere close. Luke Little, stop yourself. He's at best all right, get him up for the lefty in the 5th inning. He's not a high leverage guy at this point in his career. Mm-hmm. So it was a flawed bullpen from the get-go. That falls at the feet of the people who put the team together because they did the same thing last year. The same exact thing. And I don't want to hear Merriweather and Almonte are hurt. Those guys are just decent. Decent enough to get your ass beat.
More from Jed Hoyer yesterday. He still believes that the answers to winning this season is on the roster.
There's a point at which in the season that like you look outside for answers, but like if you think about what a 6-win player is worth a win a month, right? And like the collective is worth so much more than that. Like collectively, this group has kind of failed to produce for the last 46 games. Like we had a really good offense last year. We had a really good offense in April. Since then, we have not hit, period. And no one player is going to change that. We have to, like, this collective group has to figure this out. And like, it doesn't mean there won't be additions, but the answers have to come from within. And like I said, there's no reason to believe this group suddenly forgot how to hit. But certainly it's been a longer down spell than expected. I think everyone goes through ups and downs during the season. This is a much longer trough than we ever expected.
Jed Hoyer.
Again,
How about that, Shea Dorling?
Is that Jed Karnisovas speaking?
Again.
He has no answers. I mean, the answers are right there. I mean, we give it to you every day. We know what the answers are. The answers are is that this roster's bad, and he's thinking, well, my hands are tied. It's got to happen for this roster. Well, you know what? That dog don't hunt. You have to be able to make some changes here if you're seriously thinking about getting to the postseason.
So on June 3rd, 2022, so that's roughly 2 years ago, the Philadelphia Phillies fire manager Joe Girardi. The club was mired at 22-29 with 5 2021 All-Stars, a payroll above the luxury tax, and expectations of ending the NL's longest playoff drought, but buried deep in the NL East standings, sitting in third place, 12 games behind the Mets, 5.5 out of the second NL wildcard spot. They made a bold move. Now, I'm not telling you I'm firing Craig Counsell. I'm telling you that team was buried. And that team went to the World Series.
Yep. And who carried them there?
That was Bryce Harper coming back. He had been injured with Tommy John, I think. And wasn't Castellanos on that team? Mm-hmm. I'd have to look. Schwarber. Mm-hmm. Guys started playing better for whatever reason.
Talent. That's the reason. Because no, you asked for whatever reason. The reason is because it's Bryce freaking Harper. That's
correct.
why. Correct. I mean, that's one of the main reasons why. Who's the Bryce Harper on this team, Cap? Who's the Schwarber on this team? The beer league softball player.
They don't have one.
Okay. Who's the Castellanos, who's always hitting home runs at very strange moments in Major League Baseball? You don't have one of those, and that's the whole thing.
I think Bellinger and Suzuki could be that good. Castellanos is horrible now. I mean, It is what it is. But back then, he had a good year.
Well, let's see it.
I do think you have some guys that can be better. I absolutely believe that offensively. Shea will tell you. I mean, he and I have discussed it. But that bullpen stinks.
It's both things. The bullpen stinks as much as the offense does. The offense is not good enough. You don't have a breakthrough player. You don't.
But those guys can be better offensively, and I think they will. But that bullpen will cut your heart out just about every time. That bullpen is horrible.
Let's go to the phone lines to talk to you. 312-332-ESPN is our phone number. Kalamazoo, Michigan. Listening on the ESPN Chicago app, Alex is with us on Kap and J Hood. Alex, good morning.
Albie, what's up?
Hey, good morning, guys. First time caller. Thanks for having me.
Hey, we
for
appreciate
calling,
it,
man.
Thank you.
So I just want to address the beige point. I was going to go a different direction with my call, but I can't but just help with that point that you guys made about this team being beige. I really think that the talent level is just very mediocre. Cap, I agree with you on the offense's ability to have more in them, but you're not getting it. So Craig Counsell needs to, I think, absorb a little more of this blame because of that. I'm not saying that he's gotten, this amazing roster handed to him or anything, but the honeymoon period's over for him. Patrick Wisdom should not be leading off. Christopher Morel should not be hitting 2. I think because the team is beige, they need to do more with this lineup, and he needs to try something. Anything.
Okay, what is that? Tell me what that is. He tried wisdom. He hasn't gone back to that, thankfully. He doesn't have a left-handed bat. Somebody was tweeting at me, "What are you doing, pinch hitting Patrick Wisdom?" Who's he got there?
I think Ian Happ should be hitting leadoff or hitting 2. He's a switch hitter.
I agree with that.
Actually gets on base.
That'd be fine.
I agree with that because we've seen that before. So, yeah, I have no problem
but
with
the
that.
Ian Happ that was hitting 194, everyone wanted him DFA'd. That's what people were calling here saying. I wasn't saying that, but you got the calls just like I did.
Sure.
So, yes, he's played much, much better. Michael Busch, the last almost 3 weeks, is hitting 350. He's been better. They made an adjustment to him. He's now made an adjustment back to them.
Yeah, and I was just going to say that about Michael Busch, too. I saw the 390 stat on the game last night. If you hit Michael Busch 5 maybe, Suzuki had a nice hit last night, but maybe you drop him to 6. I want to see guys that can get on base more at the higher parts of the lineup. Morel's a great hitter, but again, he's all or none. Maybe he shouldn't be hitting 2. I know they tried the experiment, but I don't know. I think Craig Counsell needs to be a little bit more aggressive, and he needs to try to shake things up a little more because, again, the roster's very beige, like you guys mentioned.
All right.
Yeah, and thanks for the call.
Thank you, Alex.
But he says you need to try different things. Well, they tried to tag up Patrick Wisdom against Mike Yastrzemski. That didn't end well. And let me read you a tweet from our friend, Jesse Rogers. The Cubs made their 30th out on the bases last night, which leads all of Major League Baseball. It includes the 14th time that they were thrown out at home plate. That also leads baseball. They led MLB in outs at home plate in 2023 and 2022 as well.